Hello, good morning Year 6 and welcome to today's maths lesson where we're going to be looking at equivalent fractions. So we're going to be using multiplication to find equivalent fractions and we're going to be using factors to simplify fractions as well. Now let's have a little look at this one here. So I've got a square. How many equal sections is this square cut into? Well, it's cut into two parts. How many sections are blue? One of those. So what fraction of the square? One of the two parts is blue. Therefore, it's a half, 1/2. Let's have a look at this one here. So how many sections are there? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 sections. 2 are blue. What fraction of the square is blue? It is 2 out of 4. Next one, let's go along again. This is into 8 pieces. How many are blue? Is 4, and as a fraction, that is of course 4 out of the 8 total pieces are blue. And again, same thing here. There are 16 pieces. How many are blue? There's 8 of the 16 are blue. So that is 8 out of 16, 8/16. Now that is all the same. If you look at the shapes, look at the squares, the same amount is shaded in each time. And this is what an equivalent fraction is. 1/2 is the same as 2/4. 2/4 is the same as 4/8. And 4/8 is the same as 8/16. But it also means that 1/2 is the same as 8/16. And 2/4 is the same as 8/16. Okay, these are equivalent fractions. And this is how it works. Notice what has happened each time. They have just multiplied by 2 on every time. Let's have a look at another one here. So let's look at this one. How many equal sections is a square cut into? Notice equal sections. There are 3. How many are blue? There's 1 of those 3 parts is blue. So what fraction is this? It's 1 part out of the 3, or 1/3. Next one, I've got 9 sections to my square. How many are blue? 3, which is 3 out of 9. 3/9, 3/9. And this one here, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is going to be 36. So it's 36 sections. How many are blue? Well, if there's 6 down this side here and 6 there, that must be 12. So that's 12/36. Again, notice they are the exact same amount of area has been shaded in blue. They are, again, equivalent fractions. Okay, I've multiplied by 3 each time in this case. So 1/3 is the same as 3/9, which is the same as 12/36. Okay. So to find the equivalent fractions, you multiply the numerator, that's the top number, remember, by the denominator, and the denominator, that is the bottom number, by the same number. So if I wanted to find any equivalent fractions for 2/5, I can just multiply these by the same amounts, because whatever I do to the top, I must do to the bottom to keep them the same. So if I multiplied this by 2, for example, I multiply both of them by 2, that would be 4/10. I could multiply them both, I'm just going to jump over here and here. I could multiply them by 10. And that would give me 20/50. And that is the same. These are all equivalent fractions. They will all actually show the same amount. And if I was to simplify 20/50, okay, if I was to go backwards and divide it, it would give me 2/5. So they're all equivalent fractions. 4/7, again, if you were asking me an equivalent fraction, you would just multiply the same number on the top by the same number on the bottom. So you could multiply by 2, so that would give me 8/14. That is an equivalent fraction. I multiply them both by 2. I could go even further, and it could go, okay, 80/140. That is an equivalent fraction, okay? And if I was to simplify it down, it would always come back to 4/7. And again, 9/11, I could multiply it by any number I wish, and that is what my little hint here is. Remember, you can multiply by any number. You could multiply by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and it wouldn't matter. As long as you do the same to the top, the numerator, and the bottom, the denominator, it will leave you with an equivalent fraction. Equivalent, remember, means the same. So I'll multiply both of these by, let's go with 20, okay, to give me an equivalent fraction. Well, 9 times 2 is 18, so 9 times 20 is 180. Apologies for the line there. And 11 times 2 is 22. So 11 times 20 is 200. This is an equivalent fraction. Now, you may be asked a slightly trickier question where it will give you one part of the equivalent fraction. So I've got 3/6 here, 3 over 6. And what is that equal to over 30ths? So I've got to find out what did I multiply 6 by to get 30. Okay, and this is where your knowledge of times table comes in. Now, of course, to find this out, you could do 30 divided by 6, and that will give you the missing number. Or 6 times a number that you know equals 30. Well, it is times 5. So that means that I've done 6 times 5 to get 30. I must do the same to the top number. I must times this by 5. 3, 6. That is 3 times 5 is 15. So 3, 6 is equivalent to 15 over 30. Another one that you might get here, okay, would be something that looks like this. So I've got 1/4 is equal to 2/8. And what is that equal to 4 over something? Well, let's look what I've done here. To get from here to here, it's been multiplied by 2. So to get from here to here, what has it been multiplied? 2 by what? It's by 2 again. So 2 times 2 is 4, so 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so the equivalent fraction to 1/4 is 4/16. Another way, you could jump straight from here to here, because you knew this information already. 1 times what is 4 is times 4, so I could times that by 4 as well. Okay, and that is finding equivalent fractions. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, let's look at doing this with simplifying. This equivalent fractions help us to simplify because that's what you're doing. You're just finding the lowest common fraction. So simplifying fractions is the opposite. Instead of multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same number, you divide it until you cannot divide it anymore. So, for example, if I had 12/30ths, well, both of these can be divided equally by 3, which will give me 4/10. I could still simplify that. Okay, 4/10 divided by 2 is equal to 2/5. So to simplify 12/30ths, the simplified fraction is 2/5. Now let's have a look at simplifying 4/12ths. What can they both be divided by? Well, the common factors of 4 are 1 and 4 and 2, because 1 times 4 is 4 and 2 times 2 is 4. 12, the common factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 4 and 3. What is a common factor in the 4 by 4 and by 12? Well, that means that I can divide them both by 4. So 4 divided by 4 and 12 divided by 4. So 4/12ths is equal to 4 divided by 4 is 4, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 4/12ths is equal to 1/3. I have simplified my fraction. I've got the lowest possible fraction that I could have got. Okay, and this is simplifying the fraction. 6/15ths. So let's have a look at 6/15ths. What can I divide 6 by and what can I divide 15 by? They must be divided by the same number. Okay, so divided by the same number. Maybe you know this already. Maybe mentally you can go, yes, they can both be divided by this number. But just in case you can't, I'm going to write out what are the common factors of 6 and what are the common factors of 15. So to get 6, I could times 1 by 6. I could do 2 by 3. I can't do 4, can't do 5. Okay, so for 15, well, that's 1 and 15. 2 can't be done because it's not an even number. 3, yes, 3 and 5. 4, no, because 4 is an even number. I've already got 5. 6, nope, not an even number. 7, 14, 21, nope. 8, 16, no. I've gone past the halfway point, so it's not going to be any more from there that I've not already used. So the common factors in the 6 and 15, the common factors of 6 and 15 are what? Of course, 3. Both 3's are there. So I can divide both of these by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 6/15 simplified is 2/5. And let's have a look at 72 and 81. what could I divide this by, and also divide this by to give me whole numbers, and that will help me to simplify it. Again, you could write out the common factors of each one of these numbers, but maybe you'd already know this. Another way is to do it in stages. Okay, you could try and half it, or you could try and divide it by 3 first. But 72 and 81, well, you should know that they are both in a 9 times table, so they're both divisible by 9. 72 divided by 9 is going to be 8, and 81 divided by 9 is 9. Can I go any further with that? Well, they're not divisible by 2, or 9 is not divisible by 2. Anyway, so I can't do the top one. 3, yes, no. 4, yes, no. 5, no, no. 6, no. So no, I cannot go any further. So therefore, 72 over 81, simplified, is 8/9. Now, you are going to complete the work on equivalent fractions and simplifying fractions on your worksheets today. They've been sent to your parents, or they're available on Google Drive. Your work needs to be done this morning, ideally, but at the very latest by 3 o'clock. There are extension activities on Study Ladder, or you could log on to Sundog and have a go on there if you wish to. Have a wonderful session Year 6, and I will speak to you very shortly for our maths lesson, where we'll go through this in a little bit more detail. Thank you very much.